Good afternoon and happy Friday. I know some of us are about to get off of work, but if you happen to watch this before you get off of work, or if you're about to go to work, if you work 311 shift or 11 to 7 shift, do me a favor. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, because I do, look at the comments and stuff, or just share it with somebody, right? Because we're just talking grown people stuff like other people do. Quick story, really funny. I talked to my dad yesterday about it, and so he thought that he had to pay to subscribe on YouTube. And I get it. Sometimes people that are a little older may not be on YouTube, and that's cool too. Because there's certain stuff that I'm not on, like TikTok, that my daughter's on, but I'm trying to get more familiar with. So I get it. A lot of the stuff is age appropriate. But yeah, just letting you know, just like I'm sure just like with most YouTube stuff, yeah, it doesn't cost to subscribe. And I'm gonna tell you what else it doesn't do. It doesn't cost anything just to watch the video. Because it's like I got hundreds of friends, but only 7 videos watched, 7 watches on some of the videos. But hey, I know you're gonna get better. I know we're gonna get better. Because guess what? I'm gonna get better. All right. So, but I do want to shout out a couple of people. And if you are one of these people that I missed, that hasn't done it, I get it, or they have done it. My homie Tijuana and Jules, her husband Jules, they've watched just about every video, and the way I know because they give me a lot of feedback, right? My cousin Big Kev Smith, him, and also my man Bobby Blue Man, Ronnie Price. So hey, listen, we all about shout outs and stuff around here, but I know you're tired of that. Let's get to what we're talking about. So, like who likes you, right? So I was dating this one person, this one woman at a time. Got to be sure what I say. And what happened was that she asked me. She was like, "Well, what's your type, right?" And I probably gave her the typical black guy answer. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I like it all. I like booty. I like boobies, cute face. You know what I'm saying? Small in the waist, even sometimes thick in the waist, right? So I basically gave it all. And, it was one of those things where it was like, okay. So she asked me that. And, I kind of gave her some more specifics and stuff like that. But then, so I asked her, I said, well, what's your type? Like, what kind of guys you like? What's your type or whatever? You like tall boys, you like dark skinned boys, light skinned boys, brown skinned boys, right? So she said to me, I like who likes me. And I said, huh? I said, really? You like who like you? And so at the time when I thought about it, when she said it, and that's why I'm not gonna give her a name because you know what I'm saying, and I don't think this way about her, but I was just like, that's some real hoe stuff to say. So basically that means you'll get down with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll bang with anybody. Like it don't matter. A dude could be whatever. It's like no standard for this boy. And you could come up and just like get you like that. You know what I mean? And I'm dating you and I'm like, well, dang, I thought I was a halfway decent standard at the time or whatever. And so I'm like, well, I'm sure everybody has a type. And she probably did also. But as she went further into it to explain to me, I started to get it. But it took me a while to get it. So she was saying like, because a lot of people be on BS, a lot of people they're not sincere with how they approach the situation. Like if all they want is that, then just say that's all they want is that. But we know a lot of times, like as guys, a guy's not just gonna come up and say, "Hey, look, you know what I want from you, right?" You dig what I'm saying? So that's why it leads into us doing dinners, doing, dates, whatever kind of stuff. A lot of long phone conversations and just different courting that, yeah, guys should do, right? To an extent. So as she was saying that, I was thinking to myself, I was like, So, but then, it hit me some years later. And I was like, you know what? I kind of get what she was trying to say. And a lot of times as a guy, you'll get numbers or you'll get, whatever situations. Some people take Instagrams. No, I don't do none of that. You know what I mean? If you can't give me a number, then it's cool. We good. Right? So just thinking about that, I was like, wow. I said, I've now become that type of person. And so you may say, well, what you mean by that is the fact that I think when you're younger, you do, well, I don't think, I know for sure. When you're younger, you do a lot more chasing. You do a lot more, you have more time to pursue women. You have a lot more time to pursue dating, because your time, you may not have kids. You may not have as many bills. You may not be trying to accomplish as many things earlier on in life, or, you're kind of just coasting. So, you're going with the flow. You're hanging out with people from work, people from that you went to school with possibly. So, you're like in the mix. And as a guy, it's a badge of honor to be like, yo, I got with her, I did this, I did that. For most single guys, right? It's a badge of honor. But then as you start getting older, and then you're like, yo, I'm going out, I met 5, 6, 7 people, whatever, 8, 9 people, and the if I want to call it return rate isn't as good. So it's just like, you meet all of these people, 7, 8, 9 numbers, and then maybe one were paying out, maybe 2 were paying out. Whereas years ago, out of the 7 or 8, you were almost assured at least 5 out of the 7, right? Now, I know I get it. When you're young, you're youthful, you don't have these cool gray hairs and all that other kind of stuff. So, it's a different vibe. You know what I mean? And everybody is like young and into it. But still, as you get older, you still, cool. You still deal with people. You still do this. But the level of chase for a guy just changes. It changes because, first of all, dating is expensive. Most men are not millionaires. And then on top of that, at a period of time, you get tired of spending $250, or whatever, regularly on a date. So I've heard people say this before too. Like if you're a guy that's broke, you know what I mean? You shouldn't date. And you know what? Guess what? I'm in agreement with that. Because if you're broke, you can't do much. And then the caliber of woman that you may want, you're not going to get or rarely are you going to get that because, you can't even take her to a decent dinner. You get what I'm saying? And some people, and I'm not talking about like a gold digger girl, that we can all, at a certain age, you should be able to differentiate what type of women that you come across or are dealing with and what setting you met them in, right? So, you meet somebody in a local bar, well, you know what it is. It probably ain't about much, but you meet somebody out at a nice soiree or get together with somebody or through a friend that has a career or whatever, that this person may just be on a higher level as far as, how you deal with them. So, but the big thing is that, and I'll go back to this, and I've said this before, with doing any is dating or anything, respect has to be key, especially for a man, right? Because no man wants to call and then, yeah, let me give you a call back in a little while. No man wants to call and then keep getting put on a back burner. Oh, okay, well, let's say, for instance, you go out tonight, you meet somebody tonight, and you're waiting until 2 weeks to see the person. One time I got a number from somebody, right, and we were vibing, had a nice vibe and everything. Now, personally, I don't know what she had going on because you know how a lot of women say it's complicated, or yeah, I'm in a situation, I kind of really don't know which way it's going to go. Here's the biggest one. I got a lot going on, right? Like nobody else has a lot going on. So we were vibing and everything, met her at a nice bar. And so, I call her, had a decent conversation or whatever. And then she says, so I text her probably about, a few days after that, a couple of days after that or whatever. And I was like, well, what's up? I said, we talked about, going out, get something to eat or whatever. And she says, I said, so what's your schedule look like for this week? So she tells me, right? Then the next thing she says, once I text her and ask her which day, things are a little busy right now. Probably, maybe we'll do, next month or something like that. Delete. Next month. And I swear to goodness gracious, this is what I text back to her. I said, yo, next month I might not even be on Earth. You dig? Like nobody ain't got time to, be waiting 3-4 weeks to go out on one date with a person. Nah, we done. We done. And even if it's on the female side of things, if you find that there's a guy, doodling you along or whatever, playing with you, no. You know what I'm saying? You cut it, because at this point, I would say anybody, once you're past the age of 35, especially past the age of 40, you should be able to decipher and understand what's going on with that person within 1 or 2 conversations. Now, people, do they lie? Yes, they do. Have I lied? Yes, I have. But you should be able to use your own discernment to be able to see what's going on and if this person really is messing with you like that. You get what I'm saying? Because like I said, once again, we're looking for people that, that like us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sometimes you're going to pursue, you're going to chase, you're going to do other stuff. But after a certain age, people already know what they want. Know what I mean? So why, once you get 40, 50 years old, why are you trying to make somebody want something that, they may not possibly want? Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Like who likes you. All right? That even comes down to, friendships. A lot of us have platonic friendships. If you feel like in your friendship, you know what I'm saying? You hear from this person every 2-3 days, and that could be the way y'all have it set up. But like, the person never reaches out to you. The person never calls you. But now I'm going to say this with a caveat. Because sometimes what happens is that when you call certain people, they got a bunch of restrictions. You know what I mean? They can't talk because they boyfriend around. They can't talk because, their wife doesn't let them talk on the phone. So certain things we try to weave through, because I know even me, sometimes, when you're at home in a relationship, hey, listen, you got the phone chilling, you're home with your fam. So, it's just not a lot of time for all of that stuff. And I get that too. But as far as platonic relationships go, sometimes guess what happens? Your friends that were your friends for years possibly just don't like you anymore. They love you, but they just might not like you anymore. They may not have a certain amount of respect for you anymore. So, you know what? Don't beg them. Say, you know what? I always got love for you, but I'm going to have love for you from way over here. Because you know what I'm doing? I'm sticking with the people that like me. I'm sticking with the people that say, hey, look, you know what I'm saying, bro? I support you. I love you. Well, even if they don't say love, because guys don't say love a lot. But either way, you get what I'm saying. So in closing, it's Friday. If you don't have the kids, anything, even if you got the kids, see if you can get a sitter. Go out. You're married, go out. You've been with somebody a long time, go out. You're single, go out. Because I'm telling you, there are people out there that will like you because of who you are. And so, don't be the person who, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a platonic relationship, because I'll say to people and friends all the time, listen, you know what I mean? This is a two-way street here. All right. You deposit a little, I deposit a little. That's the way friendships go. That's the way real friendships go. That's how I know we're on board with each other. But some of us are the ones doing all of the depositing. And then the other friend is taking all the money out. So if you had a business partner like that, how long would you keep that business partner around? Not really long, right? But hey, what do I know? Let's see. I'll go out this weekend and we'll see what happens. Go out maybe one day, hang with the kids. Who knows? But hey, I can't wait to see you back on Monday. Make sure you don't have anything to do. You sit, watch as many videos as you can. And, I want to shout out some more people. We'll do that on Monday and Tuesday. And, we'll see how things go. But until then, remember, live life. Don't let life live you.